Hello, everybody. I'm Kelly Blanchett, and I am the author of the Chronicles of Loic series. I play Syphina in the Grand Quest games. With me today is Rapid, who plays Sif. Rapid, it's so great to have you here.
Everybody, good to be here.
How are you doing today?
Honestly, pretty good. It could be better, but normal day for me, honestly.
Well, hopefully this conversation makes it better.
Right.
So, we're going to talk about D&D. How long have you been playing?
Uh, I've been playing D&D. I want to say about it's been 2 years. December it'll be 3. I started honestly. How did I start? Online? Yeah, I started online through Pathfinder.
Oh, yeah. How were you first introduced to D&D?
Well, oh god, a long time ago. I mean, I always heard about it. Growing up, you always hear, through movies and TVs, you see all that stuff, and that always interested me. But I never really got into it until I think I had broken my leg, and I had like 3 or 4 months, just sitting around. And Vox Machina, I think that's whenever Vox Machina had came out around that time, and I was just like, that would be the perfect time that people are looking for, players or whatever to actually go get into it. So I looked into, I think Roll20 was where I started, and I mean, I'm not putting down Roll20. Roll20 is a great platform and all that, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah. So you mentioned Pathfinder. So did you play Pathfinder before you played D&D?
I did. I honestly only played 2 sessions. I played a text-based or text to speech or whatever text. What's the word?
Play by post.
Play by post. Exactly. Thank you for that. Yes. You see, and that wasn't for me because everybody was so great at writing and stuff like that, and I was just like, my guy would just yes, no, but if I did try to get into it, they were already 3 paragraphs down, and I was just like, oh, I got to delete. So it really wasn't for me. I think I played a goblin. I think I played a goblin monk or something like that, but it really wasn't my flavor. But then I went in. I found Pat. That's how I found Story Reaver, aka Pat, through Facebook. And
how did you find that? Yeah, tell me about this.
Oh, that was so. Yeah, so I went through Facebook one day. I think I had found him through what was it? It was through a post he had. Either he had commented through someone else or whatever. But I was searching because after one of my D&D game, my first actual D&D game, it was someone was doing a preview for what is it? For a pay to play game, and they're giving free previews. I liked it; it was all right, but honestly, it's just the whole paying and stuff. It wasn't for me. To each their own. But then I started looking around on Facebook. I found Pat's post and I commented under it. He had already picked up a player or two, and I was like, hey, if you have any room for me, let me actually in and all that. If he was nice enough to let me in. I've been here about 2 years.
Awesome. So, who has been your favorite character to play in storyteller campaigns?
Oh God, Griffith Ornstein. He was a Ranger, Hunter Conclave, Rune Knight. Oh my, he was such a great character. He was my first character I played with Pat, and we made it all the way up to I think 15 or 17. We made it very high, and that game went at least I think they went like almost a whole year, almost I think like a year and a half, something like that. I think a year. I want to say, and oh, there's so much stuff that we got into. It was a great game. It felt like one of those games with friends that you know we always had time to play, and it was a game that kept going and stuff like that. But as you get an adult and all that, I get we have less time to play. But back then, I feel like that was the golden ages of D&D.
That's amazing. So would you say that campaign was your favorite Storyteller Tales, that you played, aside from the one you're doing right now?
Honestly, yeah. Let me not, talk down on our campaign. We're doing great. Honestly, I would put that within our top five for sure.
Hmm.
The RP is on point and stuff. Um, I would say that my first campaign with Pat, though, Story Reaver, is probably my favorite one. Like I said, it felt like a bunch of friends playing, and then the RP was always pretty. It was there, but it
Hmm.
wasn't a focus. I felt like we were all just trying to have a good time, and then the RP was for sure important, but as long as we were having a good time and everybody was treating each other right, that was the main thing to go around.
Absolutely. It's very, very important to have fun and just enjoy yourself. So, what's your favorite class to play?
Oh, my favorite class to play.
If you have to say two of them, it's fine, but
Honestly,
limit
I
it
might be saying two
to
for a lot of these. I'm so indecisive.
two. That's okay.
Let's see. Barbarian. If I had to say one, barbarian. But if I had to say two, probably fighter or barbarian. Um, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, the whole barbarian. Yeah, barbarian is probably top one.
And what's your least favorite?
I know, that I'm playing Sif the wizard, but a wizard. Honestly, there's too many spells, and I don't like that many spells. I'm a cast fireball, and if I have a twin spell, I'm gonna do it again.
It's just interesting. You're not the first one in the campaign that said that least favorite class is the one they're actually playing in this game.
Let me guess,
So,
it was probably Myth saying something about Ranger.
no, it wasn't. It was
Oh,
Prim.
oh, that makes sense too.
So, but hey, I applaud you for guys for playing the class that you don't like because you're doing great. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying. I mean, it was up until like level 20, or not level, episode 25 or so, or 20-ish or so, where I actually found out that Sif wasn't adding all of his spells. I was like, oh, well, I only had access to 10 spells. And, I talked to Brim and I talked to Storyweaver, and they're like, no, you're supposed to have like another six or so spells on your stuff. And so,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of important for some big fights that are happening.
Yeah.
So, is there a class that you've never played before but want to?
Honestly, the only one I could
Or
say
have you played all of them?
I've technically played all of them, but the one I haven't really played much is Monk or Warlock. Monk I would kind of dabble. Warlock, I know I said I only cast Fireball, but only have access to like Fireball twice. Like as a Warlock, I know you get more later on, but that's the main
Hmm.
thing. I want to have an option to cast more spells than just twice. So if I had to answer that, I would say Warlock for sure. I need to dabble with that
Interesting.
a little bit more.
Yeah, it would be interesting for sure. So, what role do you usually play in a game? Like some people are healers, some people are tanks. What do you like to try to do?
Tank or CQC, anything with melee. I like to be
Yeah.
in a world of magic and all that. It's fun to be the one guy with the battle axe or the great sword. Be like, take this, mage, and just brutalizing them with the sword because everybody's casting spells left and right. Everybody has it and stuff like that, and it's just like, no, I'm a simpleton. Here, thunk.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense for sure. We do need those kind of people in games as well. So, it's good.
Yes, it's always I some people are like the tank is all that. Honestly, I play it just because it is a lot easier too. I am a kind of lazy person, and just to stand there, take a lot of damage, and just be like, hit me again, I dare you. My friends are getting hit.
We
That's the whole
definitely
tank
need the
way.
tanks for sure. Yeah. So, do you usually stick with one character per campaign, or do you prefer to switch out characters throughout the campaign?
I'm usually a one
Or does it
character.
depend?
And honestly, it depends. I mean, like something like this where we're recording, or I'm usually, I would say, a one. character type
Hmm.
of person.
Hmm.
I do like to have backups, but it's been so long since I've actually made a backup character. So if Sif
Hmm.
ever really does die or whatever, he goes away to the great, pound in the sky. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I honestly should make a backup after this conversation.
Yeah, I don't have a bad for Sifina, so yeah, hopefully
Oh,
nothing happens.
yeah, well, we're all kind of screwed.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. Okay, so talk Sif. He is a man person in the form of a wolf. What inspired you to play a wolf?
For the viewers watching, we have Story Reavers sitting here recording this. And I know he's listening to this. So I asked him once if I could play a talking wolf, and he said no. And then I asked him again, and either he forgot or whatever, but he said no again. And I asked him a third time, and he finally said yes. So that was kind of it. But to get more into detail, Sif is part of the whole like basis for a lot of my characters I take from just real life stuff like most D&D people do, and he comes from the Dark Souls franchise.
Hmm.
Like my first character that I talked about earlier, Griffith Ornstein, he was one of the characters too. I played Hawkeye Go in Brim's one shot that sadly never saw the light of day. At least my
Hmm.
character didn't. And I'm playing Artorias, the Abyss Walker, in our Wednesday game. But I think the main inspiration was just trying to close up that story, because once I get done with that, I don't know what type of characters I'm gonna play. I'm gonna have to draw from something else, probably like SpongeBob or something. The next character
Sif is
will
a
be a friend.
fascinating character.
Oh, good.
So,
Sorry.
would you say that's what inspired his story? Is these where he's come from? The inspiration, like his story?
No, honestly, all my characters are just like. Actually, I don't want to say all my characters.
Okay.
90% of my characters are just based off of me or my feelings and stuff like that. I feel like that's the easiest way to kind of RP is, what would you do as this character? But the whole inspiration for him is like, the whole inspiration for him is, what inspired the story? We don't need to edit this. What inspired the story? Oh, honestly, it was essentially the whole, father trying to take care of his daughter. You know, each
Hmm.
Sif has had a troubled past where he could have, done
Hmm.
better, but he didn't. So he's now trying to make amends. And I guess it's that whole idea, being a father myself. You always want to do better.
Of course, for sure. So, he really think that it was a good idea to go into Dark Meadows and steal from the hag?
Uh, God, that I honestly, the way I see it is, Sif is a smart person and he calculates stuff. But he's not very good at math. He, like I think to him that was the essentially that well to him that was the diamond heist for him to end all you know jobs and stuff like that. After that, he can lay up
Hmm.
his little roguish gloves or whatever and live happy with his family and stuff like that. But honestly, I think deep down in the back of his mind, he knew he probably wasn't going to come back from that. I think he really wanted to believe that him and his petty group of thieves were going to get away with this, but I think the farther he got into there, once he reached that other side of that door, he knew that his fate was sealed. The fact that he even was able to bargain with the hag is luck enough.
Hmm. That's interesting. So, we saw his human form briefly in the trials. Will we ever see Sif himself as human?
I do
Do we
have
know?
plans. I mean,
You do have plans.
I do have plans for him to come
Of
back as
course.
human. Yes, not to ruin too much, but
Okay.
um,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I do want to play. Honestly, I am a little sad to play human Sif though. I don't want to play him too quick because I had a bunch of dog jokes planned. So after
Yeah,
last
that was my
night's,
next question. I was like, do you look forward to playing human Sif or do you prefer wolf Sif? So
honestly,
wolf Sif you prefer?
There's two ways. I mean, so I want to play human Sif, but to play human Sif Wolf, to play human Sif would be a bad thing for Sif the character. This is stuff that we have
Mm,
already kind of talked about, not to ruin anything, but
mhm,
honestly, if I had to min max or choose,
mhm.
Wolf Sif is better than human Sif. But having two actual hands is better than standing on four legs. I think so. There's that.
Yeah, yeah. There were times when I'm like, okay, how is he doing that? He's a wolf. Okay,
He has
wait, never
mage
mind.
hand, and Matt lets me free action
Exactly.
mage handed lines. Okay, we had this conversation about the
Exactly.
flute.
Yeah, I was like, how does he? Oh wait, Mage-Hand. Everything's Mage-Hand. Okay. So, so what does Sif think of the group? Does he trust them, or what?
Well, Sif, he's kind of okay. So, to put his kind of character, he's like a chill kind of guy. He's kind of he's supposed to be a calmish, laid back guy. He thinks the whole group honestly is like him. They have their own problems and baggage, and unless they get rid of that, dark shadow looming over them, uh, he's not gonna. He's gonna trust them and help them, but he knows that unless they get rid of that, everybody we're gonna have more problems down the line. Like booga booga booga, someone's gonna hop out of the bushes eventually. So
Mm,
once everybody gets that done, I'm pretty sure they can live their quote unquote happy lives.
happy. What's
Hopefully,
that?
right?
Especially with somebody Kane. Okay, if you had to describe each person in a party with one word, how would you describe them?
Like I said, Sif is very kind of chill, calm. If I had to use one word, actually, that's good. As Sif, okay. Kane is vampire. Um, I'm gonna use two words for Trevor. Trevor is white knight. Um, Oscar is I want to say kid a lot for him, but then thinking of him, looking at Oscar, I think what the fuck. Um, what else? The Sifina. I want to say just healer or mom. She's a very or square. We'll use three words. Like just to explain, go into that, so I'm not talking trash about Sifina or nothing. Sifina is
Right.
what Sif would think a healer would be. Your textbook killer.
Okay.
Someone that
And
would make a
mom on occasions.
yeah. Is essentially
That
the
happened.
mom of the group. Make sure you eat your peas and stuff like that. Get a healing and stuff.
Did you go to the bathroom before you left?
Yes, mom, we did.
I need to start doing that to you guys. See what happens. So, does Sif at all regret joining the group and coming to Valordas?
Honestly, if he didn't find out anything about his daughter, he might have. Now he for sure doesn't. I mean, he came honestly to Valordas to die before he found out anything about his daughter, even where she was or from
Hmm.
Rabbit. Um, he had essentially been like, there's nothing else to live for. Everything is lost to him. Uh, might as well, go into this new place, try to make, the best I can out of this world, and if not, peace, I'm out because. But happy endings and all that. Hopefully,
So, what is Sif most afraid of?
oh, losing his daughter. He knows
Mm,
that now that he knows that she's alive. It's probably that either that or probably losing people to kind of go into losing his daughter, losing people due to choices that he could have prevented. The whole reason he's in this situation is because he made choices that he could have prevented. He could have stayed at home being a simple farmer and keeping his daughter and his wife happy, but he tried to make a he tried to take a risk, be adventure and stuff like that, and he paid for it, but and I think that's the thing is, he doesn't want other people to pay for his mistakes.
So would you say that he is more careful with his choices?
I try to play it as careful. The main thing, the difference between me and Sif is we're two opposite characters. I try to play Sif as a calm, collected person, unless he sees Rabbit or is provoked by stuff like that. They harm his family. I
Mhm.
am,
Mhm.
I have the same type of thing, but I am a very loud and energetic person. The very opposite, I would say, of Sif. So
Mhm.
I'm hoping he is.
I know Oscar is always the one like, "Oh, should we be doing this?" That's
Yeah,
what I know
Oscar is
Oscar
the voice
does.
of
So.
reason for sure in the group. Sif is kind of like Kane, where we're like, we're gonna brood over here in this corner, but there's only one corner, and we can't stand there next to each other, so we just take turns.
I love it. So, is there anything you can't wait to explore about Sif with not spoiling anything?
Mm, well, honestly, the thing I can't wait to explore with Sif is other than your guys' backstories and his own. Actually, I'm afraid to
Mhm.
or go more into finding his daughter. Hopefully he finds her in a great state and stuff like that. I mean,
Mhm.
knowing Storyweaver may or may not happen. There's happy endings.
Mhm.
Some people don't get them. Some people do. Hopefully, Sif is one of them.
Mhm.
Um,
I hope so too.
yeah.
Yeah. So, what would Sif's life be like if he had stayed in Alloy?
Oh, I had talked about this a little bit earlier, but yeah, I think so. Not to go too much into his backstory or whatever, but he had grown up from a poverty-stricken family. Um,
Mhm.
they were all potato farmers and stuff like that in a small little town like that. He didn't want to be anything like that, but I think that is kind of what he would have became if he essentially didn't, take up that life of crime or whatever. He would be a father, you know, back at home with his family, hopefully living a nice, life, but life of fantasy and all that isn't all it's chalked up to be for a commoner.
Yeah, for
We have to
sure.
protect a lot of them.
We do. So, if you could describe the Grand Quest game in one word, what would that word be?
Grand.
Grand.
I hope
Yes.
nobody else used that word.
Not yet. Nobody else has used that. I'm waiting for that. So, you're the
Someone's gonna
first
say
one. You got
quest.
it. So, why do you think people should take the time to listen to storytellers tells Grand Quest game?
Honestly, other than that, Pat Swordweaver is a great person that puts time into his games. Like, honestly, oh god, let me restart. Honestly, it is just the reason because our DM does put time and all that into every single character, his whole world. We have actually played this game. I think this is about our third run through. We've gotten pretty far within this world. He has it fleshed out and all that. There's always been little stuff to happen,
Mhm.
but honestly, with the amount of stuff he has planned and that we haven't seen yet, I'm kind of a little scared and all that because he's always got something coming up, and that's the great thing because you think you're
Mhm.
gonna take a right or a left, and you end up going and taking a backflip. So
Um,
bunch of twists and turns for
yeah.
sure in this game.
So the listeners will enjoy all the twist turns and
For sure.
unpredictabilitiness. Yeah.
I mean, hearing the whole stories unfold, I'm hoping they love these stories enough to, want to see it unfold way more. I mean, I for sure am.
Yeah. Same. Well, I really appreciate you joining me today. It was fantastic to get to know you and to get to know a bit behind the scenes with Sif. So thank you. I really do appreciate
No,
all
thank you.
these answers. So I
Well,
can't
thank
wait
you
to
for
see
having me.
what happens next. Yeah. Well, you take care. I hope your day has gotten better, a little bit better since
Right.
this conversation. And I hope that you have a good rest of the day.
Bye, guys.
All right. Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening, everyone. If you like the story so far, leave a like. And if you want to hear more, subscribe. Remember to always check for mimics underneath that bed of yours. We'll see you next time.